Hey, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Taurus, happy birthday season to you. This is your May 2020 reading. So if you're a Taurus sun, rising or moon, it is a general reading, but it might resonate for you. If you're enjoying it, please do help to support the channel by dropping me a like and a comment and making sure you're subscribed to the channel. You can also join me for the extended. All of the information about how to find the links for that is in the description box underneath the video, as well as all of the contacts, so you can reach me over on my website and other social media platforms. So let's go ahead and see what's coming out this month for you, Taurus. Okay, Taurus, it's May. Let's go ahead and see what's coming up for you. We're also moving into retrograde season with Pluto, Saturn, Venus and Jupiter all taking a backspin. So as I film this, we're just coming up to your new moon. Beautiful opportunity to think about where you want to have that renewal. We open up with the Three of Coins. I like this nice earthy energy for you, and I think it is putting you in a mindset of wanting to open up to new possibilities. There is a beautiful sense of creativity coming through, and I think as we're into your season, you're just starting to feel a little bit more at ease with where you find yourself energetically, notwithstanding of course the incredibly contrasting set of circumstances that you might be finding yourself in individually. However, what we see with this Taurus season upon us now is you looking at this and saying, how can I make the best of it? What is on my mind right now? Where am I being intuitively guided? And the Three of Coins is coming in and saying, you know, there are opportunities here to explore. You can make the best of this time. You can start to see where you can do things in a different way, where you can start to set your mind towards perhaps a new skill, a new idea that's looming. I see you wanting to connect, wanting to collaborate, looking at the projects that perhaps have been on the shelf for some time, and just perhaps feeling a little bit more energized and ready to kind of put your time and attention to something. Now in retrograde season, and with 4 planets dominating the landscape for us this May, you know, it is going to be asking you to take stock and to really kind of reflect on what's come up in your own individual soul journey of late. We also have a full moon in the sign of Scorpio, your polar opposite, which is your 7th house. So a lot of mirroring happening in the relationships and what's showing up for you through this season. Now, it is a beautiful full moon. It's got Mercury sextile to Neptune, and the moon is trining with Neptune, so very compassionate and understanding, and also in Scorpio giving us that intuitive knowing. It's almost like, you know, we can just read between the lines, we get the nuances of things, and I sort of feel that there's a little bit of a quietness that comes in with it. 6 of Coins coming up and saying perhaps it can restore some balance and some harmony with the relationship that you have with yourself, but also those important business, professional and personal relationships, you know, your partner, your husband or wife. And I think that we need that right now. We need that kind of solace. We need that just gentle, soulful energy, that patience and understanding. And I think that you are coming up as we move into this month of May in a much more generous state of mind. How can I help myself, and how can that help the people around me right now? What do they need from me right now? Where are they at energetically, and how can I respect and honor that? And in that state of mind, you're really coming up with some beautiful new ideas. As I said, that creativity is flowing and helping you perhaps to just make small adjustments in and around the home, or, you know, maybe in the routine, just to take account of like how that impacts your well-being, but also those around you. So I just see you being very aware, very conscious as we open up the month, and just taking time to really review where you want to make those small changes that can actually have a huge impact. And I think that's probably an important theme just in a bigger backdrop, right? Because when we all start
from an individual perspective, what can I do to make a profound change? And then if we all took that kind of an outlook, that's when we start to make something really meaningful happen in the collective. So a lot of coin energy coming up for you, of understandably so, Taurus, as we enter into your season. So 2 of coins here, as I see you weighing things up, having choices, trying to, you know, figure out how you can make everything work at the moment. And I do just have this sense, Taurus, that this is also about you, you know, having to perhaps compromise somewhere. You know, there's maybe a major sacrifice or a compromise you're having to make at the moment, perhaps because of what is happening in the backdrop. But also I think for some of you, as we have this focus from the full moon on those key relationships, that you're maybe looking at you know, having some deeper discussions around what does the future look like, and really trying to come to a place of understanding if you're both on the same page, and perhaps maybe coming to a place of, you know, looking at where there was closed doors for you in the past, if your thought process has now changed, and equally, you know, for your partner, or, you know, the person that you're involved with, whether it be in business or personally. So what you may well find is that there's the opportunity to revisit something that had already been decided through the course of May, and that just might open up a whole new interesting vision for the future. And I want to say, just be open to that, Taurus, because it's all happening right now for a reason. It's coming up to give you time to really tap into what you want for yourself moving forward. And perhaps even, you know, 10 of Swords coming through, perhaps there's something that had ended previously and you'd really kind of walked away or moved away from, and all of a sudden in retrograde we have time to go back and look at it. We're looking at it, remember, from a completely different vantage point, and this is important because you're taking it now from a place of with growth, with new understanding, new awareness, and how you've changed and what that might mean as you look back at you know, an old project, a relationship, a decision. Regardless, I just feel that there is time to gain something new from this. Even if you decide it's still not the right thing to start over or to kind of bring it back to life, that's okay. I think there's something about just even going through the process that's going to be really cathartic, and perhaps for some of you help to bring in some closure where it's needed. Now we've got Venus in the sign of Gemini, and she moves retrograde on the 13th right through till June 25th before going direct, but staying in Gemini right through till August 7th. Now last time Venus was in Gemini retrograde was 2012, spring of 2012. So think back to that time, Taurus. What was going on for you? Because you may well be visiting some themes. And remember, you're coming at it from a place of growth now. So what you've learned and how perhaps you might respond differently or see things from a completely different perspective. 3 of Swords, of course, you know, does maybe bring up some old wounds. With all of these planets in retrograde, it's inevitable that we bump up against some stuff that just feels kind of messy and uncomfortable, right? And maybe some of you, you know, through this season of lockdown have found that some relationships have come to an end, you know, or something in and around your work or business has had to stop or be put on pause. And you know, it can be a really challenging emotional time for that, but in allowing the flow of that emotion, in facing it, in owning it, in understanding what it is helping you to tap into from your own growth, you can really start to see how much healing there's been, you know, on your journey and within you as a person. So I feel like it's almost like Spirit almost want you to take this season to kind of look at that mirror quality that it's serving up and really see for yourself, you know, and I'm not taking away from some of the pain and the challenge that many of you will be going through for lots of different reasons right now, but see what it's showing you about your evolution at a deeper soul level right now, Taurus, because I think there's rich information about how you allow healing, how you can be more compassionate and kind to yourself, where you're starting to see some really profound clarity about your life, perhaps about, you know, the decisions and choices that you've made in the past, how you want that to be different moving forward. And you know, just giving you the opportunity to be more present and to look at things and reprioritize. You know, the Three of Swords is a real cleansing card. It needs to allow the emotion to flow so that we can kind of come back to a place of renewal and make space for what comes in next. So just being really respectful of how you feel energetically. And in some ways, you know, maybe it is the highs and the lows. You know, after you allow that cathartic release of emotion, then there's almost something to celebrate. Then there's something still to feel joyful about. There's still something that you can find about what's going on right now that gives you cause to feel optimistic. I think that for many of you there is this deep kind of need right now to find ways to connect with those friends, with the kind of the people that really feel like family to you. And they might not be blood family, but perhaps it's the ones that you're not getting the opportunity to kind of connect with in the physical right now. And just have that lightness and that joy and that sense of fun. You know, the Two of Coins and the Three of Cups is wanting to bring in a sense of lightness, perhaps to a heavier backdrop that you might be dealing with at the moment. And you need to take that whenever it comes. You know, so you know, while you're coming through this season and you're having your birthday and whatever that celebration means to you, and however you are able to come together with people that matter for you, you know, whether it be online or just marking it from a ritual perspective for yourself, it's really important. It's important to stop and to just allow that time to come in. Now you've got 3 threes coming through in your reading here, which I love because it's bringing in that sense of creative manifesting energy. And here we have the Ace of Wands, so it's really rich, fertile soil for you to start to think about what comes next, perhaps where you want a fresh start after something's had to end, or like a revisit where you look at renewal and how perhaps you can take it forward with a sense of adjustment. There is some really divine inspiration coming forth for you in this month, Taurus, and I want you to pay really close attention to where those ideas are coming from, because they're really sound and they have the potential to turn into something really quite exciting. I have the sense though it is going to mean like perhaps a radical mindset shift for you. I think at the moment you need to look at where you can be your own guru. You know, there's an awful lot of narratives that are coming up at the moment, and you know, causing a lot of split in people's energy as they try to figure out what's truth and what's not. And your invitation is to always go back to the self. You know, this is a time where you can work on the self, and when you are at your most powerful in your season. So remember, the energy of the Ace of Wands is raw in its potential. So you have something really unique, really inspirational and really powerful right now, and you have to direct it in a way that is coming from a place of real integrity from where you currently stand and what it is that you want for yourself. So there's a new beginning coming in, and you know, maybe for some of you, if this is around relationships, it's a new beginning, you know, starting out on your own from a pathway of independence, you know, following perhaps a breakdown or a breakup. For others, I think there'll be the chance to come back and renew something, but on a completely different level. And remember, in retrograde, really take the time to think back, what have I been learning in these transits right now? What have they been showing me about myself? You have to honor the clarity that's coming forth. Otherwise, you're just going to keep dipping back into the old way of doing things, and that's not going to work. We've got Hierophant coming through, which is of course linked into your sign, Taurus. But again, for me, just this reminder that you do need to be your own inner guru at the moment. Perhaps many of you focus very much on your marriages at the moment, or where you're seeking commitment, where that commitment is either being broken or you're trying to establish it just now in a really challenging set of circumstances that we find ourselves in. But I think that there is that opportunity for you to celebrate something, and even if it's coming to your own powerful new awareness about what you now need, like what your soul needs to be able to feel that sense of freedom, like what's working and what isn't. The more truthful and honest you can be with yourself and with the people that are important in your world, the more you're going to gain from this whole experience. And then when we move forward, really enable some of that inspiration to take seed and start to overhaul things that in a way that feels really positive to you. You know, we've talked about the influence of Uranus in your sign and giving you that radical change of you know, your outlook on life, and you know, things coming in to be disruptive, to shake you up so that it can move you out that sense of apathy that might be going on right now. And it's really easy in the current kind of landscape, isn't it, just to feel like, well, what's the point? I don't have the, you know, the ability to be able to make any meaningful change right now. I'm kind of locked up, I'm locked in. It's just, I don't have the freedom. And so I think, you know, it's easy to sort of fall foul to that kind of a vibe, but you do. Right now, there's rich possibility for you to work on your mindset. And that's where it all begins, working on your energy, working on your mindset through this month of May, how you want to respond emotionally, the way that you are looking toward the self. That is the work. In that work, there's all of this rich new offering that's going to come your way. Sometimes the four, you know, I think the Four of Cups can be really helpful as well, because it sort of puts us into what I see as that kind of waking meditative state, you know, where we're just kind of in a place of neutral, you know. And maybe some of you need that, you know, maybe if there's been a really challenging situation that you've had to deal with, that's really caused some heartache or some pain, it might be quite a solace for you to just move into a place that feels a little bit more like, I don't need to feel anything too heavy right now. But we can also use that as a time for really linking in to that kind of daydream mentality and that vision of what we're looking for ourselves for the future. You know, this is a time of rich creative opportunity to actually bring in more alignment. There is a beautiful sense of manifestation that's showing up in your reading. So I think if you're looking toward the future and saying, how do I get back on my feet, or how do I continue to expand or grow my you know, material resources, you know, the financial aspect to my life, then through this month you are going to come up with some ideas and be given the vision and the wherewithal to start to lay that out. Don't be too rigid or too stubborn in your approach. You know, make sure you're listening to what perhaps, you know, other people are doing or being inspired, but what else is possible. I think first and foremost though, I want to say, like, listening to your higher self. Don't shut that connection off, you know. To be your own guru is where you're really going to start to see the answers. I think if you're finding relationships to be particularly challenging through this month of May, again, I think that there is some breakthrough that's going to come up, that's going to help you to look at things from a slightly different angle. Now, your oracle card is the seer, future prospects, decisions to make, seeking guidance. Again, you know, looking into that kind of inner guru. But I do want to say, Taurus, I feel there's going to be some information that's going to come to light toward the end of this month. Now, we're going to be moving into Gemini season on the 21st, again in your second house of value. And I just have this feeling that there's some kind of information that's going to land, whether it's going to come externally by way of a message or communication from someone or something, or whether it's just going to kind of land into your conscious awareness, something that you're at a soul level, you're just ready to acknowledge and hear. But what that's going to do, I feel, is really absolutely transform what your priority is and how you see something being able to work, right? So I see you coming to that point of making a major shift and a major decision as we come towards the end of the month. And actually that's serving you really powerfully and positively at a soul level, okay? Right now Mercury is in your sign in Taurus, so again giving you that sort of gravitas energy to be able to communicate and say what's on your mind. It moves into Gemini on the 11th, and then as we start to really pick up all this Gemini energy, the ability to be able to think through these new ideas quickly and almost make those much needed adjustments, you know, within the house and home, within yourself and within the key relationships in your life is really going to make a difference. Okay, so your animal card is the Peregrine Falcon. Observation. She's touching in on his third eye here. Again, just this reminder that the answers are going to lie within. Standing right on the edge of this kind of mountain cliff top, and the bird signifying that you need to look at something from a higher perspective. You don't quite have all the information to be able to make that sound decision, but it's coming. That's what I feel. It's coming. All of the light, like there's a new dawn that's breaking here. New information that's going to help you to see and prioritize. All of these planets in retrograde giving you much cause for reflection, Taurus. So take that opportunity. Don't be afraid to feel into some of the heavier emotions, because they are going to bring a sense of clarity. But I do see some fun and lightness really entering in for you through this month of May as well, and these powerful kind of new ideas helping, particularly for those of you in work and business, and a focus around that area to think about what you can do moving forward, how you can make a key change or adjustment. Taurus, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss any further notifications. Drop me a like and a comment. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some cards now for the extended reading. If you'd like to join me for that, we speak for another 20 minutes or so, and we're going to just go deeper into some of these messages and see what else we can unearth. I'd like to begin just by asking you to focus specifically on a question that you might have that hasn't been covered in the reading, and we will look at that more deeply in the extended. So just think about that question right now in your mind, and we'll pull a couple of cards for it. Okay, so let's just now clarify these 9 cards that we pulled for you. So 3 of coins, bringing in judgment, release. There's almost something about needing to, who or what do you need to forgive in order to be able to move forward? And allow yourself to see something differently. So 6 of coins, bringing in the card of the Chariot. Could be a Cancer energy that you are involved or dealing with in a certain situation right now as well. Perhaps where you feel something is out of balance, or it needs to be addressed, or you feel like you're just on different pages right now. We'll look into that in a bit more detail. We have the card of the World coming through with the 2 of coins. Of course, this is a cycle of renewal for you. We've just completed and now begin your next season of growth. And the card of Death with the 10 of Swords. So something is ending for you, Taurus. Whether that's on the internal emotional landscape or something that you are experiencing in the physical right now. 3 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. Let's just pick another one for that. 5 of Cups. King of Wands with the 3 of Cups. How do we deal with disappointment? How do we deal with those emotions of wound? Page of Cups with the Ace of Wands. How can we redirect that energy into something meaningful for ourselves to allow our soul to continue to evolve? That's what we're working with in May for you. Temperance with the Hierophant. Could also be a Sagittarius energy here. Also got the 3 of Swords, and the Sun wanted to come out there as well. Four of Cups bringing through the Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. And just finally, with your oracles, Three of Wands, Seven of Pentacles. Okay, I'll continue this conversation. We'll explore a little bit more on the relationship and work and family front for you in the extended. See what more messages want to come through. If you'd like to join me, you can find a link in the description box below, Taurus. That will take you over to my website, romywyser.com. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful birthday season. I'm sending you many blessings. I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel. Take good care. Bye for now.